Hello, 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 ladies. Welcome back to another episode of the Create and Grow Your Dream Business podcast. As always, I am super excited to have this chat with you. If this is your first time tuning into our podcast episode, then welcome. And if you are a returning avid listener, then welcome back. Today's episode is going to be so juicy, and it's for you if you are a woman in corporate or if you're an entrepreneur and you know it's time for you to level up your confidence personally and professionally. So, today's episode, we're going to be talking about how many seeds are you willing to plant? Oh my goodness, this topic is going to be so good because here's the reality. Oftentimes, we have a bad habit of wanting an abundant harvest in our lives, but not being willing to actually sow enough seeds. And this topic is so juicy because it's going to be the transformational shift that you need so that way you can actually start to feel more confident and see the results of greater confidence in your life personally and professionally. So I know you're probably thinking this out of your mind. Bree, seeds, what are you talking about? Well, again, if you're wondering what I'm talking about, you're probably new to the Create and Grow Your Dream Business podcast. But I love coinciding the concept of gardening with creating and growing your dream business because they go hand in hand. And so when we talk about seeds, we talk about you recognizing that opportunities, for the most part, are not just going to fall inside of your lap. You have to be that type of person where you're willing to recognize that in order to see a shift, you must be the shift, right? In order to harvest great confidence, great opportunities, great business relationships. You have to be the type of person that recognizes that these opportunities are not going to just fall inside of your lap and that you have to actually sow seeds of positivity. So let's talk about this from a leadership standpoint, right? From a business standpoint, okay? One thing that I remember when I worked in a corporate space where we spoke about an emotional bank, right? And in leadership, you recognize that you have to pour a lot of positive emotions, positive affirmations, positive energy into people who are under you before you really can take the initiative to kind of give them that negative oomph. You know what I mean? That constructive criticism. It's the same way here inside of your business. There are going to be a lot of seeds, a lot of people you have to reach out to, a lot of lives, a lot of emails, a lot of collaboration requests, a lot of seeds. This is what we're calling them, the actions that you take inside of your business. There are going to be a lot of seeds that you must plant in order for you to actually see harvest inside of your business. But now I want to ask you, how many seeds are you actually willing to plant? How much work are you willing to put in, right? Oftentimes, I know that you're in a space where you want to create and grow your dream business, but you know that creating and growing your dream business, it really starts with how much you're willing to show up professionally. Before I ever became an entrepreneur, I started developing myself in the corporate space. I started being inside of a space where I recognized that in order for me to grow and develop professionally, I needed to grow and develop personally. But personally, I didn't really know what growing and developing looked like for me professionally. So can you see how I was at like a tipsy topsy, right? A real life example of this would be you being inside of a space where maybe you're at your job and you have the desire to grow professionally, but you just don't know which way to go. That's exactly what I went through. When I first started working in corporate, I was like 21, 22 years old, right? And the company that I worked for, it was very comfortable, had a great culture, but at the same time, that made it kind of complicated because it was almost hard to see what professional growth looks like, right? But I could not, the same way you cannot, allow a lack of examples to be the reason why you do not make progress professionally and personally, right? So here's what I had to do. I seek to mentor. I seek someone at the company that I was working for who I looked up to, who I saw was operating on a higher vibrational frequency, who really just showed up more confidently than I was at that moment, right? And I got up under her wing and I started to grow and stretch myself to the point where I noticed that I started growing and developing, and then inevitably it led to me being in leadership. And what I really recognize, and this is what I want you to recognize, is that you have more skills and talents and things that you're great at. You're just not showing up in that energy because you're not willing to plant the seeds. Here's one thing that every gardener knows. You have to be willing to plant more seeds than the seeds that you really think that you need, because all of your seeds are not going to grow. Here's a translation to your business. Just because you reach out to someone to offer them to work with you, it doesn't mean that they're gonna automatically be ready to buy. Just because you reach out to someone and you're hosting a workshop and you want people to come to your workshop, it doesn't mean that everybody's gonna show up, right? Just because you put out on your page now that you're starting to sell a product or a service, it doesn't mean that everybody's just gonna latch on to that. But do you stop sowing seeds? Do you stop talking about your business? Do you stop showing up confidently? Do you stop reading the books? Do you stop working on your personal development? No, you go deeper. You dive deeper, okay? What I want you to know is that you have to be willing to sow so many seeds before you see a harvest, because as we talked about in the previous podcast episode, your business is going to grow through different seasons. So imagine if you only sent out emails or asked for collaborations under the expectancy that everybody would say yes, where you're kind of like tricking yourself out of the reality, because it's not always going to be a yes. So what's going to happen is that when things don't fall through for you, when people don't say yes, when people don't show up to the workshop, when people don't pop up on your live the way you're expecting for it all to be a yes, you're going to be disappointed, right? You're going to be slightly discouraged. That's why you have to see, you have to plant more seeds than the seeds that you think that you just need to succeed. So I want to talk to you about, what does some seeds look like? What do the seeds in business look like, right? What does this look like? Sowing seeds inside of your business means asking for the collaboration with someone inside of your industry or with someone outside of your industry. Sowing more seeds looks like being willing to speak with your boss or your leader or your manager about that promotion, even if you can't guarantee a yes at that time. Sowing more seeds means that even when they tell you yes, that you're qualified for the promotion, that you continue to learn, you continue to develop yourself, you continue to work on your self-confidence, you continue to show up and be the best person that you can be, right? Sowing seeds looks like when you have that powerful thought inside of your mind. For my thought leaders, sowing seeds means that you're willing to go on live and talk about that, or write that article, or share your opinion, or get inside that women empowerment group, or go to that networking event. These are all seeds. See, sometimes what happens in business is that you get caught up in the sale. The same way at your job, you simply get caught up in getting a paycheck for every other Friday, or whenever it is that you get paid. But what I want to tell you is that if you're extremely passionate about boosting your confidence personally and professionally, you have to be willing to sow seeds. You have to be willing to do the work, even when you cannot guarantee that that work is a yes, right? Sowing seeds looks like even times when you don't feel positive, right? You still make connections to boost your positivity. Even times where you don't feel confident, you still take those qualified action steps to boost your confidence. I'm telling you, as a business confidence coach, you're not always going to feel confident. Right? Because here's what happens. Your life, your business is going to constantly take you to the next level. And the mind, the body puts fear right there as a way to protect you. I'll give an example. Let's say that, again, you're inside of that space where you work for a company and you have a role that's very important. Maybe it's something in like HR or leadership, management, recruiting, um, whatever it could be, right? You have a role that's very important. And let's say that your dream business that you want to create kind of coincides with that in some type of way, shape, or form, right? Fear is going to tell you, no, I shouldn't post on my page because I don't want my boss and coworkers to see what I'm doing. This could be a breach of my contract, right? Well, sowing positive seeds in that energy would mean that you talk about your business regardless. Sowing positive seeds or sowing more seeds means that you go above and beyond out of your way to actually look at the contract of the company that you're working at and see what does that look like. Would you even actually get in trouble if you started your business? Because again, fear is going to tell you that you are going to get in trouble, and it's just an assumption that you made, and that nobody really needs your help, and that you can continue to just work for the company that you already work for, right? These are some of the things that fear will try to tell you, but what I'm telling you is that even in the midst of fear, you have to sow more seeds. Here's another reason why you have to sow more seeds, right? Because just like in farming, just like in gardening, my husband and I, we have watermelons and cucumbers in our backyard here in Belize. And here's the thing, we leave scraps and food and all that over there on the other side for the birds. Why? Because we recognize that even the birds are going to get some, right? Again, you're going to put your business out there and you're going to have people who tell you that they're interested and maybe they're not. Keep sowing seeds. You're going to put your business out there and maybe somebody's going to tell you, you sure you want to put your business out there? You know, maybe your company's going to say something. Keep sowing seeds. It's your dream business and you have to create the dream. So in this message, I'm simply asking you, how many seeds are you willing to sow? How often are you willing to show up in your company and show that you're the leader, that you're the person who can boost the morale of the team, that you're the person who has that great idea that can help your company go to the next level? How many seeds are you willing to sow, even in the midst of when possibly your leadership and the other leadership, nobody else is taking things serious, but you know it's time for you to start to take your career serious. It's time for you to start to show up more confidently. How many seeds are you willing to sow within yourself to start to work on your personal development, start to wake up early, start to eat healthy, start to really transform yourself and your confidence? So that way, when the opportunity is here for you, you are more than ready. I'm super excited to have had this chat with you today on the Create and Grow Your Dream Business podcast. If this message resonated with you, I want you to let me know down in the comment section or send me a message that you are sowing more seeds, that you're willing to show up more confidently, and you're willing to put in a little more work today than you were willing to do yesterday. So until next time, be sure that you share this podcast episode with a friend, and I would love to see you at our 3-day Women Becoming More Challenge, which is a personal and professional confidence challenge for corporate and entrepreneur women who know that you need a boost in your confidence. I'll see you at the challenge, ladies.